This definitive master-level legal manifest represents the absolute unified consolidation of all evidence, market-based impacts, and human rights violations concerning the Ford-McKinley household. This document incorporates the 2026 judicial landscape, specifically the Supreme Court's March 2026 ruling in Cox Communications v. Sony Music, the SEC-FTC Joint Framework on Digital Securities, and the strict liability provisions of Hawaii's 2026 Elder Protection Legislation, HIHB 2085. Total liability is established at $60 trillion, accounting for the global execution of the WMI global ecosystem, the Wish You Were Mine legacy, and the direct disruption of Wall Street trading performance. Omni-jurisdictional master complaint and notice of liability. Total consolidated judgment demand, $60 trillion. Plaintiff, Joshua Elijah Ford, CEO, WMI Global Ecosystem, Lead Market Strategist. Primary defendants, State of Wisconsin, State of Hawaii, Meta Platforms Inc., Alphabet Inc., ByteDance, Spotify AB, TuneCore, and participating Wall Street financial intermediaries. Date, April 14, 2026. Case reference, Winnebago County, Wisconsin. No 2025 CV000-241. Legal status, verified healthcare client. Verified healthcare client. Permanent disability claimant. Market asset strategist. I. Preliminary medical and psychological statement. The defendants have engineered a state of total biological and cognitive siege. This is a direct assault on the neurological and cardiovascular integrity of the Ford-McKinley household. A. Joshua Elijah Ford. A. Central sensitization and professional disability. Neurological body damage. Forced deprivation of medical cannabis. A foundational medication for the plaintiff's chronic recovery protected under Hawaii, SB 3315, 2026, has induced central sensitization syndrome, CSS. His nervous system has entered a state of permanent hyperexcitability, where psychological trauma is physically processed as acute, chronic pain. Intentional infliction of emotional distress, IIED, the digital kill switch, was a calculated act of psychological fragmentation. By erasing a decade of professional labor overnight, the defendants caused a creative death, permanently shortening the plaintiff's professional career span and market utility. The trauma of losing global distribution during the Wish You Were Mine cycle has induced documented severe anxiety and cognitive impairments that mirror traumatic brain injury. B. Maternal health, cardiovascular terror, and elder tort. Strict liability for elder harm, HIHB 2085, 2026. Under Hawaii law as of January 2026, a defendant is strictly liable for substantial bodily injury to a person 60 years of age or older. The state of mind requirement for the victim's age has been removed, making the defendant's actions at the Ford-McKinley residence a Class C felony equivalent tort. PTSD and cardiac strain. The state-sanctioned invasion of the McKinley Sanctuary induced documented cardiac arrhythmias and chronic PTSD. Per HRS Section 346-221, this interference with a vulnerable adult's welfare, compounded by the stress of an artificial finance gap preventing basic living costs, triggers maximum civil and criminal penalties. 2. Market impact, Wall Street trading, and the Wish You Were Mine legacy. The defendant's interference extends beyond local tort into global market fraud and the destruction of digital trading equity. Interference with tokenized securities. Under the SEC-FTC Coordinated Framework, March 17, 2026, the plaintiff's ecosystem assets fall under federal jurisdiction as investment contracts. The platform-wide ban triggered a liquidity collapse, directly disrupting Wall Street trading performance and the valuation of WMI-linked digital assets. Destruction of the Wish You Were Mine legacy. The defendants executed a platform assassination of the Cornerstone R&B project. By cutting off direct-to-consumer revenue via link to wishyouweremine.com, they induced a $20 trillion loss in projected market cap and generational royalty equity. 3. Jurisdictional fraud and constitutional assault. The jurisdictional void, International Shoe Company v. Washington. Wisconsin's attempt to exercise jurisdiction over a Hawaii resident violated the 14th Amendment. Per the minimum contacts doctrine, a forum is only proper if it does not offend traditional notions of fair play and substantial justice. Platform custodianship, Cox v. Sony 2026. The U.S. Supreme Court, March 25, 2026, clarified that service providers are contributorily liable if they intend for their services to be used for infringement or specifically tailor them to facilitate the destruction of creator equity. The active metadata